That's what I says about that. Lover stream with the possibility of callouts. Yeah, maybe. Oh, hey, look at that. My cup runneth over. Well, what the shit is that about? And also, the music's too loud. But that's okay. I can fix that. Like that. There we go. Yay. Look at me go. And I can fix the cup too, even though I did not prepare for that. Anyway, hey, what's up, kiddies? How's things? What's going on? How's everybody doing? And be honest, the neurodivergent scale doesn't go from doing great actually all the way down to I forgot to eat and I've been staring at a wall for 45 minutes. So where are we at? Where's everybody sitting at? I personally am sitting at, I kind of nibbled. I have a coffee. I've got my meds, and yeah, there's that. And I'm sore because I mean, I'm always sore because that is life. Sleepy, back to work after a week off. I hate that feeling. There's nothing worse than having to go back to work after have your vacation. And the beautiful thing for us and our sexy brains is the fact that a week off doesn't. It just doesn't cut it, you know. Load, goddammit. There we go. Let's try that. Wow, it really does not want to do anything for me today. Sorry, don't mind me. I'm just trying to do something simple like stand the cup back up. But apparently the code does not want to work, I guess. Alright, whatever. I guess we don't need a cup today. You can go away. Watching on 2 devices. Ooh, look at you, snazzy. Holy shit, it's a Chris! Oh my god. I thought you would be working, doing the teaching, the educating of the children, and all of that shit. Or I guess under your administration, the indoctrination of the children. But 55, holy shit. Spring break? Ah, that's right. Yeah, you guys have a spring break different than us. Nice shirt. You like that? This is my Japanese Star Wars shirt. Because it's got, you know, the red sun and all that. It's smacksy. I dig it. I dig it. Well, I guess if Chris is here enjoying the spring break, we can definitely get into the call-outs. On today's little episode of pretending that I'm actually a coach, we're going to be doing a little bit of a recap for the last 2 articles that I did because they, like last week, work really well. And yeah, there's some good info in there that I think could be passed along. Remember, try to keep off the tracks. We do have a train coming through now, so make sure that your little avatars are not playing on the tracks or anything. I cannot be held responsible for if Nadia decides that she wants to do a bullet train and run everybody over. That would suck. Anyway. My TV ran outside. Is that like, is your fridge running? I'm not sure what just happened there, but okay. Alright, Dan, best of luck to you? Question mark? I think. I guess. Anyway. So, just to give you an idea as to what we're going to play with today. That's right, take your meds and wash your bum. Oh, you're avoiding the recap. Ah, I see. I see. Dan's being a big chicken shit. Gotcha, that's the problem. Alright, that's fair. It's unfortunate, and it's not really going to help you. But that's alright. Call Central coming? I don't know how many of you have read the last two articles that I posted up yesterday and today. I skipped Monday because, well, I had an appointment in Calgary to go to at the pain clinic, the chronic pain center, which I don't know if you guys read. I put it in the Discord. I don't know if it was like the greatest irony or the worst fucking joke ever that when you go into the clinic, you hang a Rico, you go down the hall a bit, and then there's the elevators. Once you get on, hit it on Blue Sky last night, cool. You get on the elevator, and then you go up to the second floor, and then the chronic pain clinic is all the fucking way down at the end of the hall. Like, all the way. I'm talking, I don't know, 2 football fields kind of thing. Like, long-ass way. So I don't know if that was, like, the greatest joke ever or the cruelest irony. So, yeah. I had to go down all the way down there and then sit for 2.5 hours. Well, no, I got out early, so it was 2 hours with the doctor there. They worked on making a new prescription for me, which is going to be like a topical cream, I guess, which is weird. Yeah, light at the end of the tunnel shit, yeah. Yeah, turns out the light at the end of the tunnel was actually this. Just a train. Anyway. So yeah, I did that on Monday, and then I came back to town, and then I went to physio, where my physiotherapist told me that I could and should have just canceled, but no, not going to do that. I don't know who I was trying to prove it to, but think of it as physio. Yeah, exactly. Well, not as much physio as last week, where I had to push my car into the gas station. But, I mean, this week was definitely more than enough. So anyway, back on task here. So then I did 2 articles. Tuesday was about how hard it is to get an adult autism diagnosis and the specific ways the system is structurally built to miss you. And then on Wednesday, today, this morning's post was about personality disorder diagnoses in adults with ADHD. Physio is going to change the MS. No, but the physio does kind of help with some of the strengthening. Even though, like, she told me straight out, you have the strength there. You just don't have access to it. Which sucked, but made sense. Because it's true, my nerves don't want to work for me. Oh, hello. What is this, a squirrely thing? Yes, it is. Come and grab a nut, sit down. Kind of makes sense. I might be Canadian under the new laws. Really? Yeah, definitely a DLC. Not a fan. I'm curious how you might be Canadian under the new laws. That is interesting. Such a cruel fate. In this economy, are you kidding? That's like one of the greatest fates you could possibly get. Costs just as much to fill your car twice from half as it does to fill it once from empty. Yep. That math works. Yep. It is true. I have Canadian grandparents. Oh, okay. Okay, I see. So you may actually have a citizenship. I think it would have to be parental, though. You can barely see the rest of the shirt. This is the rest of my shirt. Like I said, it's a Japanese Star Wars shirt. Right? Big red sun for Japan. TIE fighters, Death Star, stuff like that. I've got some X-Wings up in the top there. Ugh. Yeah, I was a fan. I got it for, I think my sister got it for me for Christmas like 2 years ago. Grandma's also Canadian, but she has been in the U.S. since she was 5, so I don't know there. Fair enough. There's a storm or a weather change coming. My joints are painful. That sucks. I hate when your joints can feel like how the weather is coming. Yeah, not a fan. Not a fan at all. All right, speaking of not a fan, get ready. Anyway, as I said, Tuesday, how hard it is to get an adult autism diagnosis. Wednesday, personality disorder diagnoses with ADHD. Specifically how, and get this, for those of you wondering, and remember, this is all brand new research. Actually, I'm going to do it here before, because I asked Dan to remind me, but I just reminded myself. I'm trying to find the link. You'll have to give me a second here, but I'll post up the link for you guys for the resource that I pulled all this from. But anyway, did you know? Like I have potentially, yeah. But did you know 57% of ADHD adults meet criteria for at least one personality disorder? Did you know? Managed to overcome her BPD in emails with the head of the to get the autism diagnosed. Oh, I see. I mean, she can have both, right? Like it does work that way, that you definitely can have both. Because the amount of overlap is pretty fucking impressive, honestly. So I'm just scrolling up trying to find the link here for this, so I can put it in and share with you guys. Okay, well, I don't have the direct link, but I will. Anybody who wants it, just ask me and I'll get it for you afterwards. But, bam. This here is the, and we'll pin this up. That there, those there are the sources we're pulling from today. All right. God damn you thing. Manually unpin at the end of stream. There we go. All right, cool. Any mahoo. Sume, you were saying something prior and I missed it or skipped over it. Wrong saw it. No, I shared in a VC. We're doing. Okay, what? We were in, but made the Mandalorian into Magic the Gathering card. Oh, nice. I think I've seen some of those where people have redone those. Right mask for the referral she needs. Nice. Procrastinating on getting a new doc, re-diagnosis. I mean, that's fair. A lot of people do that. Silly methods being determined the right time to work. They can. They totally can. All right. So before I get into the research, quick poll for you guys. Give me a 1 in chat if you have received a different diagnosis before you got your neurodivergent diagnosis. And I'm talking just, oh, you just have anxiety, so they give you that. Oh, you just have depression, so they give you one for that, right? Stuff like that. Go mama. Catching the thingy. Depression. Dan, BPD, okay. See, that one very, very common. BPD is one that gets, like, super diagnosed. 1.5. All right, hit me. What do you got, Zen? Wish not to answer. So you're saying plead the 5th in a country that doesn't have it. Jumping on making dinner. Oh, and it was probably a bomb then. I mean, that happens. So yeah, as I've written down here, the expected responses that I was expecting to see, rather, anxiety, depression, BPD. Um, we're going to talk about that. I do believe my child is home. Yep. All right, Sabine, enough. Bear with me, Jace, time. Hello, child. How was your day? Good. Beware of stupid dogs. Got diagnosed 5 ADHD. I think it might be autism now. And fair enough. Fair enough. All right, so before we oh no, wait, we already got to that. Hi, child. Depression must have been the root of it all. Comorbidity, the trans stuff using depression. I know it's not the cause of everything. No, depression is not the cause of things. Depression is usually caused by other things, typically. Same with trauma. All right, anyway. Okay, here's what I want you to know for the rest of the stream. Hold on to this. The system did not give you the wrong diagnosis.
Polarbearded88 says, stop everything and tell your wife or kid how much you love them.
Jace, I have just been played a card that told me I have to stop everything and tell you how much I love you. Do you know how much I love you? A lot? Are you you're more than a lot? You know that you're my favorite person? Excellent. All right. Thanks, Dan. They got everything right, but missed the CTE. Depresso as a result. Yeah. Accept autism because it accepts you. That's right. Open your arms and embrace. All right. Anyway, so like I said, the system did not give you the wrong diagnosis because it was careless. It gave you the wrong diagnosis because it was looking at the right symptoms, but through the wrong lens. You could try and deny the reality of it. It ain't going to work out too well for you. But, try. Have at it. See how that works out. Anyway, so no, it's not that they didn't give you the wrong diagnosis. I mean, at the time, depending on how far back we go, it could have been that they just did not have the appropriate information to hand. Vitamin D deficiency can cause or worsen depression. Yes, it can, actually, and vitamin D is actually something that I have to take a shit ton of. I have to take 5,000 units a day, currently. Thanks, MS. Anywho. All right. Let's get to it, shall we? Grab your emotional support, whatever it is you need. This one shouldn't be too bad, but you never know. So this one here, Section 1, I'm calling it the diagnosis barrier research, where they, again, did not have the information. They were looking at it through a different lens. You support potato? Excellent. So this one is from, if you look on the pin, should still be there, I hope, from the Khudiakova. This paper was published 3 weeks ago, I believe. And again, if you guys want the up-to-date current breakdowns of this shit, it's all brand new information. It's all in my Substack. It is all free. Like, subscribe to me there. It is all free to read. The paid part is for where we get into the deeper dives, the parental approach, the coaching tips, the diagnosticians and whatnot, the clinicians, that part there. And unfortunately, the sources got locked behind the paywall, but I always try and I'll always give you guys those. It's what your depression needs, is it? Emotional support, recreational drugs. Excellent. Here's mine. I was sick of that. I'm not talking about cameras, but all of my information is from this year. Everything that I post on lately, everything that I'm doing on the Substack, is all information from this year. This article here was published, I think, 3 weeks ago. And this is the one about the, brain just fucking took a left. This one is about how hard it is to get an adult diagnosis. Yep. Little white boy who bounced off the wall, so I got the diagnosis right away. Exactly. Exactly. Of course you did. He's a little white boy. Right? Mine got skipped. My ADHD one did. Not the Suzuki one. I have this one's Khudiakova. Anyway, so this study here, they did 50 studies actually that looked at the barriers to adult autism from 3 perspectives: lived experience, family members, and clinicians. Okay, so this isn't one study. This is a synthesis of 50 of them, right? So that's where this matters, because they took all of these studies, compound them in, looked at them from 3 different angles. Okay, so basically, I love meta studies. Basically what they found is that the barriers are not random. They cluster into patterns. There's a clinician bias. Many clinicians still picture autism as the young boy with obvious behavioral markers. And when an adult woman walks in presenting with anxiety and exhaustion, autism is not the first thing on their differential. It never is, right? Because women, people of color, a lot of minorities, they end up actually getting glossed right over because that's not the first thing they think of. That's not in their training data. All the training data was on little shits like me and Papa, obviously, right? The little white boys. If it wasn't for my jar of dirt. Probably because of your jar of dirt, honestly. I'm gonna make this just a little bigger. There we go. Alrighty. So, yeah, autism was not the first thing on their differential when an adult woman walks in presenting anxiety and exhaustion. There is the masking problem. So, this was me. How about you? Right? Level 500 masker over here. People who learn to look functional, to perform competence, to read the room, to not cause trouble, to not make themselves stand out. They don't trigger the referral pipeline, right? The system rewards looking okay, and then it completely misses you because you look okay, right? I spent my entire life masking so hard, I fucking hid it from myself. And I've heard many times, and I'm sure you guys have heard me talk to many people about this in streams and whatnot, where they are terrified to go in to get a diagnosis because of the fact that they mask so hard, right? They're afraid that they are not going to be, they're not going to be able to let the diagnostician in, right? To allow them to see that, holy shit, you know, I'm quote unquote failing at life. Asking what's that? That's a thing that you do on a Halloween. With the functionality, I can mask harder than a classic Chinese theater. Like I said, I call myself level 500 because I was masking so much I hid it from myself. Until I was like 46, I think. Something like that. Anyway. So another barrier that a lot of people face is the prior mental health diagnosis. So if you already have a chart full of anxiety, depression, mood disorders, clinicians often stop looking, right? That explains everything to them, except that it doesn't. If you actually look in the DSM, what it'll say under autism, under ADHD, basically the last line of the diagnostic criteria is something to the effect of, unless it can be explained better by a different diagnosis. And a lot of these clinicians seem to be missing that. The fact that it can be explained better by something else, right? I told you guys prior that Jasa was looking at BPD and asking me about that. And I said, yeah, it could be something we could look at. However, the majority of it is explained by your autism, right? So they're probably not going to give you that. They're just going to go, autism, group it in, right? Group it in with the bigger blob, as it were, instead of just saying, hey, we can add this one too. It is explained better by it. I still mask, especially in my depression. I was severely. I like how you said was. Was. Okay. If you say so. All right. So we've also got the post-diagnostic support gap. Something, again, I have had trouble with. And if this is something that you also have experienced and have had trouble with, chime in. I want to hear it. Okay? Let's talk about it. The post-diagnostic support gap. The paper didn't just look at barriers to diagnosis, it looked at what happens afterwards. And the answer is not fucking much. Getting the diagnosis is hard. Getting support afterwards is even harder. I've said it to you guys before. I said it in the video that I put up yesterday and in the article that I wrote yesterday. You know what my support for adult autism was? Besides my diagnostician / therapist that I can only see every 4 to 6 weeks, a fucking Facebook group. That was it. I have a fucking Facebook group. And don't get me wrong, there's nothing wrong with the Facebook group in and of itself. But I'm just looking up the name of it here. It is the Autism Society of Alberta Autistic Self-Expression Group. That's what it is. That is my fucking support system. Even as a white guy, as a white male, as an adult, that's what my support is. I would get a hell of a lot more if I was 12. We mask us, we don't want to be a burden. I feel that one. Maybe let it slip. We didn't hope, but at the end of the day, we abide and function. Yeah. And Chris, that's exactly it. Here's your diagnosis. Good luck. Off you go. You have fun with that. Something else that presents as a barrier. Finances. Financial and access barrier. Private assessments cost in many countries, and those costs are extremely prohibitive. Mine cost $1,500. Jace's cost $2,000. How much did yours cost? It would have been free for mine, but I would have had to sit on a waiting list for 6 years. Get more help as a 12-year-old boy. That's when you got to fight the final boss waitlist. Yeah. So this is not equally distributed. This hits lower income people, people in rural areas, people without strong self-advocacy skills, right? Which I am hoping and I am praying to the maker, aka George Lucas, that this is something that I've been able to impress onto you guys, that I've been able to help you build, is your self-advocacy skills, because they are incredibly important. And a lot of people, they don't have them, and then they end up getting steamrolled by this. It's all tactics for me, not sure if it's smart. I mean, if it works for you, it works for you. If it doesn't, well, that's something different. Not part of my meat space life. Going to random Discord, find people demask a little bit. Yeah, and it's always great to have a place like that. Chris, I have to advocate. Hope that doesn't get me non-renewed and judged at my job. It's an unfortunate part of life that the judgment tends to come. It tends to be there. And it sucks. But that's also entirely up to you as to whether you want to share that information or not. Right? You are not, that I'm aware of. I don't know how, especially in Texas, how hard they are on you about it. But for the greater part, at least up here, that's entirely up to you if you want to reveal that information. Spent almost 5K getting all of it. Yeah, that's a shit ton. Been 16 months now, my God. whichever gives drugs. That'd be the psychologist, or the, no, that's a psychiatrist, yeah. Nice. Scroll space making me demask it a little bit. Nice. I'm glad to hear that, if you're comfortable with that. Like we say, masking is optional. You can leave your mask at the door if you're comfortable enough. It's free because we went public and she was under 9. Yeah, I kind of wish that Jace's was free, but is what it is, right? So, I'm wondering, for those of you that did end up getting diagnoses, what was the thing that finally got someone to take you seriously? Or, for those that are still waiting, what is the biggest wall that you keep hitting? What is the biggest hurdle for you in getting it? And for those that have it, what was the thing that finally got someone to take you seriously? Don't have to reveal, but have to accommodate. Something simple to have a warning from fire drills. Money? Yeah, money is a huge factor. Huge. And it's got too big masking. And using different side of your own line. It's entirely possible. Money, yeah. Money. Anybody else? $15K for them to even look at you. Fucking hell. That's brutal. That is absolutely brutal. Invalidation. And especially as a woman, right? Especially in AFAB, you're probably going to meet some resistance on that. Because again, like I said before, anxiety, depression, those are the ones that they just want to tack up, right? My wife, before all of this, got diagnosed general anxiety disorder. Because she is. I mean, if you've met my wife, you know she's pretty high strung. Despair. What's the end of my own rules? It's funny how depression and situations like that tend to do that. Doc's looking at working something out. That's good. I don't believe you are. I don't think Doug is sorry about that either. Anyway, that's a different stream. Friend got her daughter privately $6,000? Bloody hell. Yeah, that's right, do better. Remind me, Zen, is that Germany? Forgive me, I forget things quite easily. But is it Germany that you're in? That's what I thought. I'm glad I remembered that. Don't want to confirm. I mean, fair enough. In that area, good enough for me. Doesn't flap her hand, so she's not autistic. She maintains eye contact, so she's not autistic. Right? Like, that isn't something that you can do with masking incredibly painfully. But it's not something that you can do with masking, right? The point is, though, the system doesn't miss you because your symptoms aren't real. It misses you because your symptoms look like other things that the system already knows how to label. And once it labels you as anxiety, as depression, they tend to stop looking, right? Anybody else experience that? Where they just kind of peg you with, boop, you're this, boop, you're that, okay, done. And then move on. A case of tactical masking. Intriguing. Now to find someone who I should be mentioned to the Embrace Autism website, yeah. Oh yeah, because you and I were in DM sharing scores. We were passing scores back and forth. I got a score last week on that. On which one there, Peter? Sorry, I got caught waiting. We'll just kind of like conclude this little part here just by saying, for anybody who is in this situation, okay, the chart is not the truth. The chart is a record of what what the system noticed, and what it had words for, right? That they assign you on. Your job, and this is the hard part, is to hold the distinction between what I was told and what was actually happening. What was actually happening? I threw an I in there. I don't know why. Anyway, so maintain that distinction. What was I told versus what is actually happening? Okay? Getting a new evaluation, finding a clinician who specializes in adult autism, brings documentation of your history. These are all legitimate next steps. This was something that I had to do myself too. I'm sure some of you remember that I actually had to hunt down somebody who would handle autism. Thankfully, I found that. Thankfully. 10 points off your score. Yeah, you were not too far off on some of mine. There's a couple where I'm fucking way up there, right? And then there's a couple where I was pretty close. I know my truth. There you go. That's how they missed my degenerative brain system. The masking thing. Oh, you did the masking test? Oh, is that the cat Q? No. I think it might be the cat Q. I don't remember. Yeah, exactly. They only found my MS because they were doing a scan on my lower body. They were doing an MRI on my knees. And they accidentally found a lesion on my spine. And they called me back in. That's how it got found. Look at the diagnosis. He looked at the online scores with his own testing. There you go. Let me know when there's time. We are going to give it a couple of minutes here. We're going to do a self-care break in a couple of minutes. And this is a good time to pause because that more or less just wraps up the first little segment that I wanted to talk about. So just a quick conclusion. Just remember that what you are being told versus what is actually happening, they may be entirely different things. That when you get diagnosed as something quote-unquote minor-ish, right, compared to the bigger picture, when they peg you with, just anxiety, just depression, whatever, and then they stop looking, that's the system. That's on them. The system is not designed to help us out. The system is designed to tack on a quick label and be done with it. From my inner ear was not formed because it did. Oh, gross. There you go. Hydrate, take meds if available, make a nice cup of tea. Spot of tea. I got myself a beauty coffee going on. Num, 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 and num, num. Just gonna have a little peeky over here. And have yourself a cookie. Grab a cookie for yourself, everybody. Whatever flavor you like. There you are. Why don't we do that then? Let us take a little self-care break. Grab yourself some water, a snack, hit the bathroom, refill your coffee, pet the dog, pat your child on the head. Do what you need to do. But we're going to take ourselves a couple of moments.
After these messages, we'll be right back.
Get some goodies. We'll see you in a second.
Beat goes on. The beat goes on. goes on. Everybody.
Welcome to another episode of Nobody Asked, the segment where we give you information that nobody asked for.
The cream filling in a Twinkie isn't actually made out of cream. It's made out of Crisco. That's why they last so long.
This has been Nobody Asked.
Has a bus smashed into your living room, taking out Grandma and her 3 cats at a family barbecue?
Been in a freak fishing accident while you trucked around and found trout?
Are you victim to a partner leaving the vibrator on all night, causing extensive dental damage to you and your 3 other house guests?
What?
I'm JP Schuster.
And I'm CB Mooster.
And we're here to fight for you.
Automotive accidents?
Medical malpractice?
Workplace injury?
Ex with a shotgun?
Call Schuster and Mooster at 1-800-LOOSTER.
The L is for lawyer.
We really need to change that.
Schuster and Mooster.
Attorneys at law.
We're just small town boys.
I'm drunk right now.
By hiring Schuster & Mooster LLC, you acknowledge that no one should act or refrain from acting based solely upon the legal advice provided by Schuster & Mooster LLC without first seeking much better qualified legal and/or professional advice.
Are you ready for Sports Ball? Live from the Neurodome tonight. Get ready for some sports ball action as our reigning Golden Acorn champions, the Mighty Meerkats, defend home turf against the undefeated Dark City Demons and the up-and-coming Cajun Corgis. Team blindfolds and spicy wieners on special during the self-care first quarter break. Followed by slam poetry after the game. Don't miss the Scramble at 5, only on WTTS Sports, Channel 80, in HD. Now that's Sports Ball! really should make a new sports ball ad. That'd be pretty awesome. Firefox, you go script, sponsor block. Hey, there's an idea. Win or lose, they make the same. Yeah, not autism bet. Autism bet, you never know. Alrighty. So, I hope you all grab yourself a little snack there. Got your water. Hit the bathroom if you need it. Took care of yourself regardless of what you did. Next section here is we're going to move on to the personality disorder data. I'm going to go live. The ultimate popcorn reality show. No shit. I appreciate that. Whatever Uncle Jeffy's money is still, you know, it's just as good as anybody else's. Oh yeah, it's still. Go ahead. Put your wall of text up as you claimed. Son of a bitch. My pin went away. Okay, well. I'll grab you this one here. Let me just get that and pin that up. Okay. So this is the information that we're pulling from now. Is regarding the personality disorder data. Okay, so it's a meta-analysis, 11 studies, 2,120 participants. The question, how common are personality disorders in adults with ADHD? The answer is 57% of people meet the criteria for at least one personality disorder. Let that sink in for a second. You hit the X on the pin. It's still there. Define personality disorder, please. We will get into that. Hi, Jay. You showed up at the right time. Are you ready for your daily helping dose of callouts? Because I got them. Actually, in the first one, the first part might have been a little bit more of it. And again, while I sift through that, even here since the beginning was also on TV. That's fair. Fuck, what was I going to say? Run away. Oh, yes. By the way, if you actually want to read these articles that I'm pulling from, or that I'm kind of taking the notes from, these are the ones that I posted yesterday and today. Okay? So instead of listening to me babble poorly about it, if you want, you can just read them. They're free for everybody. The first part of the information is free on the Substack. If you guys, anybody who wants to, like, support and pay on that one, cool. Obviously, I hate double dipping you guys. But it also goes into the deeper stuff. The, some of the clinical shit, some of the parental shit, some of the coaching shit. It is the Demon Daddy. Who just showed up? Who is it? Where did I put it? Where did I put it? Here it is.
My demon daddy.
There we go. Is Capitol Health. Oh, yes. Thank you very much. Appreciate that. Yeah. If anybody, you know, feels like chipping in with that, hey, that wouldn't hurt my feelings either. All right. Let us take a look at this wall of text that you put up about. Where are we? All right. Once you get into the system, you got time when you learn about the system. You know which things are being dismissed, which cutoff points are screening tests. So if you finally get in, want certain diagnosis, further treatment. So you tac mask, you're tactical masking to get you what you want. You're functional enough, but you open up as well. Layering mask comes into play here. For that strategy, you need to know about the system and yourself, and need to have obtained level of control. Yeah, definitely. I mean, there are some people that don't have that level of control over masking, right? For some people, it is just like automatic. It happens and oh shit, right? And that's where a lot of people run into difficulties in the system. And again, like I said, recapping from the first part there, the system is not built to see you. The system is built to put a simple little tag on you and then move on. Sorry. Sitting there playing with them and I wanted to eat them. This done the skill grind. That's one way of putting it. Alright, so let's get into it. These are the top 3 that they found in this study. Okay, the top 3 personality disorders that they found during these 11 studies and over 2,100 participants. Top 3, one is passive-aggressive personality disorder. 25.3% of the people. What it actually looks like is an ADHD brain. Executive dysfunction means deadlines get missed, tasks don't get done, commitments get dropped, not because of hostility, but because the brain could not execute them. From the outside, it looks passive-aggressive. Second one, avoidant personality disorder. Rejection sensitivity dysphoria. Hurrah! Fear of failure, withdrawal from situations where performance feels uncertain. It's textbook ADHD plus anxiety. It gets labeled as a personality disorder when the underlying cause is not defined, that being the ADHD in and of itself. You're only a level 30. Fair enough. And number 3 in the top 3, borderline personality disorder. BPD, the one that overlaps pretty much among the highest. Damn near 90% overlap with ADHD. This one is worth sitting with. Emotional dysregulation, impulsivity, unstable relationships, identity disturbance. These are all documented features of ADHD, especially in women. The BPD misdiagnosis in ADHD women is well documented. BPD, borderline personality disorder. Or polar bear dad, as you put it. But anyway, the BPD is quite often misdiagnosed in women. I have heard so many women, AFABs, come to me and say that they were diagnosed BPD. My oldest was diagnosed BPD and stuck with it, and decided of their own accord not to pursue any further. They have their reasons. I respect their reasons, but that's what they got pinned with. It's not rare. It is quite common. Like 21.9% common. So, I know some of you have already said it, but let's recap again. How many people have been told they have BPD or have been asked about it before getting an ADHD or autism diagnosis? How many of you? Because I know there are a couple of you. Nope. No, Jay got other special goods. Because that one is very common. Normally we just cut off point for all of the crazy. I mean, that's a lot of crazy. Remember a doctor telling Doug he had bipolar because his antidepressants didn't work on him? It was ADHD, dumbass. Antidepressants don't work the same way on all people. That's why there are so many goddamn antidepressants. Because one type doesn't necessarily work on everybody. But anyway, if you got told that, or if you were misdiagnosed with something prior to them actually finding and pinning down, yours went straight to it. It's probably a white guy thing. Don't fit in any boxes. I mean, why fit in a box? Who would want to fit in a box? Side question while I'm thinking of it. Hey, if you're on the train, keep a lookout for your car. Currently, because I'm still working on the code to get you guys to be able to change the color on your own. If you see your car and you're not happy with the color, just tell me what you want, and I will fix it up for you, up until we get that fucking thing working. Oh, never mind, it's 2 different names. They got the 18 plus package. No shit. No shit. All right, so the core argument here. Time you to the front. These are not two separate problems that happen to co-occur. The personality disorder criteria describe behavioral patterns. Those patterns have to have causes. When the underlying cause is an undiagnosed and unsupported neurodevelopmental condition, like ADHD, like autism, the behavioral pattern it produces can look like these personality pathologies. BPD, avoidant personality disorder. What was the top one there? Passive aggressive. It does not mean that the personality disorders are always wrong. Co-occurrences, comorbidity, it's real. But at a 57% rate in ADHD population demands the question, how much of it is ADHD presenting under things like chronic stress? And I realize that nobody is really stressed out there, right? It's all just a figment of our imagination. All of the bullshit that's going on out there, right? We don't have to deal with stress, but that's just a Tuesday, yep, or Wednesday in this case. But considering that the meta-analysis found this 57% rate across these 11 studies, right? That's not just bullshit noise. That's all I'm saying. I gave that up long ago. I mean, okay, that's fair. So, some of the other things, yeah, just try being positive. Have you tried not being a mutant? So again, some of these things that these studies found. A personality disorder means that that the problem is who you are. Was one of the things that people said as they went through this study. Yeah, try harder, of course. I guess simple diagnosis and you're stuck with it. Well, yeah, Zen, that was kind of the point that I was trying to make in the first part there, right? Once they give you that base thing, then they don't bother looking. There's no point to go any deeper. Yeah, have you tried not being sad? Have you tried just smiling? Another thing that was heard a lot. ADHD means the problem is how your brain processes. Kind of works okay. Told today I would be happier if I smiled more. Would you be happier or would they be happier? So, if you carry a personality disorder diagnosis and you also have ADHD or autism, it is worth asking because these things can happen. Obviously, at a 57% rate, they can happen. The question is worth asking whether the personality disorders behavior change with the proper ADHD treatment and support. ADHD not related to the brain processing? Exactly. Have you tried shutting the fuck up, Darren? I have plenty of no... Do I seem sage? Sage? I'm not sure. Anyway. This is a question for a clinician if this is something that you're going through, right? Not a self-diagnosis moment. It is a legitimate question to bring up in an appointment, right? This is not... Yes, self-diagnosis is real. Self-diagnosis is valid, provided that you have done the research and the study on it. In a case like this, where you have already got one diagnosis, the one underneath, that is something that I would go and bring up to a clinician, to a doctor, to your family doctor, whatever, and then go from there. All right. Look at that, I'm learning stuff today. But yes, that's something that you would definitely want to bring to your diagnostician. And the history of it, if you happen to know what it is or be able to write it down, did the personality disorder coded behavior show up before you had ADHD support, rather, or after? Did they reduce when you got support? Things like that. Did you find that when you, if and when, for those of you that did end up getting support with it, because I know there are a lot that did not, is there a possibility it fits into another diagnosis? That's the thing, right? These are questions that you need to bring to a diagnostician. Is stuff like that. And can you track whether, when you did, if you did get support for ADHD, which is far fucking cry more than for autism, did you find that getting those supports helped this personality disorder that you potentially could have? I don't do BuzzFeed quiz. Yeah, no. Rabbit hole that shit. Go through that. Okay, sorry. It's time to learn about how the therapy system works. Is the endless wait time. It is a long wait time. Prepare the board and get tactical. That's the world we live in. I'll say yes. I'll say yes and no. Situationally, yes. But not necessarily always. But for the most part, yeah, it's a lot of the shit that we have to deal with. And it sucks. What are we looking at here? Hey, perfect. Right at the halfway mark. Is someone's TikTok? Tell me the easy answer. Yes. They can. It'll be wrong. It'll probably be dumb. But yes. Yes, they can. Alright, so let's kind of put all this shit here together. Bad. Newspaper in the nose. So these are things that we have noticed. Okay, the system has structural barriers that make it hard. Make it hard to get. See, Jay, look at what you're doing. Make it get hard. My God. This is my own writing that I can't read. The system has structural barriers that make it hard to get a correct diagnosis as an adult. Oh, it's just your presence. That's all it is. Demon Daddy's here. Of course, everything just got dirtier. Okay, so that was the one thing that we talked about. Second, in the absence of a correct diagnosis, the system tends to apply the labels. Hold that thought. The system tends to apply the labels that it has available, like anxiety, like depression, and just leave it at that. Those labels often describe behavior patterns without looking for their cause, though, right? They'll stick you with one thing, and they won't look for anything further. By the way, that was my afternoon med alarm. So if you have meds to take them. I have got 2 that I gotta pop. Whoop. And by 2, I mean 3. Because it's 2 different sets. Where the fuck did I put it? This one here. Punk Mummy is also here. Hello, Punk Mummy. You remembered? Very good. Yeah, Jay did it. I mean, you can always blame your demon daddy. 2, 3. And just for Jay. There you go, dude. I'll even take him with a drink. Mommy too many times at VC, I just had to embrace it instead of getting... Sometimes that's what you got to do. You just have to embrace the pain. All right, so what we're saying here, yeah, often get stuck with a label, and they don't look any further. The result: a generation of adults with charts full of anxiety, depression, BPD, avoidant personality disorder, passive-aggressive personality disorder, and an undefined neurodevelopmental condition underneath it, which 9 of 10 is going to be ADHD or autism, because they did not look farther than just, here's your little tag, off you go. So those two things together, with it being so difficult to actually get a fucking proper diagnosis as an adult. Okay, sorry, I gotta double check that. What mummy is over here? I don't know about digging deep, and I believe in people to dig until they learn. Yeah, I agree with the sentiment there that you can't just rely, like, I always say, don't take my word as gospel, right? Absolutely not. Yes, I'm going to try to give you the best, most accurate, most up-to-date information that I can get my hands on. Don't take that as gospel, right? Do your own digging, right? But make sure that you are looking at valid peer-reviewed sources, right? As Jay says, the one thing I will add is dig, but don't dig looking for something to prove you're right. Yeah, don't go in with a confirmation bias. Dig looking for all of the info, because some people just dig for their own echo chamber. It is true, honestly, and that was afraid that I was. Jay is the devil. I was afraid of that when I went for the autism diagnosis. I was totally paranoid that I was looking with my own confirmation bias based on the information that I had, right? But of course, a lot of that too was internalized ableism, was fear of rejection, right? RSD, imposter syndrome. A lot of these things played into it. I was totally paranoid that that's what I was going in with. I was looking at the information with a confirmation bias, wanting to get the diagnosis to confirm what I had found, right? Not necessarily the best approach for it. I was totally terrified that's what I was doing. But I also had to have faith in the information that I had found, my own lived experience, and remember that part because that's fucking important. Your own lived experience is something that nobody else can, one, take away from you. Nobody else can tell you about it. This is what you have gone through. Yeah, internalized ableism is a bitch, right? But when it comes to your own lived experience, nobody else can tell you about it. Take your own lived experience, compare it up against the diagnostic criteria, compare it up against the experiences of other people in the community, other autistics, other ADHD peeps, right? If that's what you think you have, and you can put yourself through the diagnostic criteria, put yourself through the online tests. Yeah, they're not to be taken as fact, but they give you a good ballpark range. Put yourself up against the other people. Compare your own life experiences, right? Because your own life experience is so important. Your own lived experience going through this shit. I was talking to... You're talking to somebody about this earlier? Yeah, maybe. You might have been. One of the compounding problems, going back to the documentation, wrong diagnosis doesn't just delay the right answer. It often means the wrong treatment, which is another thing that a lot of people have to go through, right? SSRIs for what is actually ADHD. DBT for what actually rejection, sensitivity, dysphoria, trauma therapy for what is actually autistic burnout, right? So they may be putting you through the different treatments that are the wrong thing. They're not focused on the right thing. And again, this is because they only stopped at X. Where we at here? Everybody went down the ASD rabbit hole when jump on work. That's what the shoe said. I went through with the I doubt it mentality, and there's nothing to prove me wrong. And I got a couple of other friends that have done the same thing. Modern world, some people feel like they have an identity. Kind of. The problem is when they make it themselves into a skill granted. More or less, yeah. More or less. There are far too many people that do legitimately make it their entire identity. However, it's not just this. There are a lot of things that people will make their entire identity. And you cannot do that, right? Don't just make your autism your entire personality, your ADHD your entire personality. Yes, do the rabbit holes. Yes, do the research. But then there comes a point where you have to kind of like embrace it and then go through it, right? You have to live with it, live through it. Change the trajectory within your system. Yes, it will. Right? My autism diagnosis, it changed the way that I look at things. I didn't think that it would, but here we are. So, is self-ableism? Internalized ableism. Family can speak well. Okay, but so what? So are you saying because I have a big vocabulary that I don't fit in either? Yeah, and a one-dimensional character of any type. Right? Gym bros. There's another example. People make the gym their entire personality. Red hats, and I'll leave it at that, that make that their entire personality. Right? You are a one-dimensional creature at that point. And yeah, you give yourself access to people that only have one dimension. That's right, Jay. All right, let's move along here. Some of the treatment helps that I was talking about. You know, the meds for the ADHD, the trauma therapy, stuff like that. It can help. Some of it doesn't. But none of it addresses the underlying problem. So this is where it gets kind of... DJs, fuck you. I see what you did there. At one point, there was one person, like, I don't think I ever actually just kind of, like, made that the one thing, because I always had so much other shit going on. But, what did I do to you? But I do know some that actually fit that. Anyway. People have it worse than me, you need the help more than... I know what you're going to say. Then why did you say it? If you know what I'm going to say. Actually, I know why you did that. You put that out there exactly so that I would chastise you. That's exactly why you put that. Because otherwise... Because you know what I'm going to say. Right? You know what I'm going to say. Huh? Right? Nadia, what am I going to say to that? Please. I'm just going to have a sip here. Please. What am I going to say to that? Right before I kind of string you up a little bit by the emotional nuts. Why? Because that's what we do around here. We do the call-outs because they're real, because they are true, and because they help. That's right, we don't kink shame. We kink question sometimes, but we don't kink shame. I'm valid, self-diagnosis is valid. Thank you. Everybody's struggle is unique to them. No one's is worse or better. It's what someone can deal with is what matters. Exactly. I have told you guys this story repeatedly of the girl that I knew in high school that had the quote-unquote perfect life, and the hardest thing that she ever went through by the time she was done grade 12 was that daddy took away her car keys. It was the hardest thing she had ever gone through in her life. To her, that tops the trauma level. To me, it was a joke. But that was her experience, right? And I cannot invalidate that experience. That is hers. Mental health is not a pissing contest. No, it is not. These are not the trauma Olympics. Experience is valid, and I am awesome. There you go. See, I don't need to say anything more. Naughty has already got it under wraps. What I got, the more I learned. I still talk to people in my field who understand science jargon in everyday times. To explain some things in simple ways. Yeah, unfortunately, like I did at one point really enjoy a lot of the science jargon for it, but unfortunately, with the MS, I have basically lost the ability to retain a lot of that information and stay on track with it, right? Which is why I have got so many notes written down for things like this, right? Which is why when I go through the articles and such, and write up for the Substack stuff, I will probably forget the majority of it within the next week. Competitive peeing should be a thing. It should be a thing. That is something in and of itself. Needs to dumb it down for us window lickers eating crayons. I mean, I try and put it in more simplified terms. We'll just put it in that. All right, so let's get to the identity question. Now, this is where it gets a little bit emotionally real. A lot of people in the community were told directly or indirectly that the problem was who they are. Their character, their choices, their failure to regulate, things like that. That is a fundamentally different thing than being told that your nervous system works differently and nobody gave it what it needed. Nobody paid attention to the fact that your nervous system was crying out. One of those things you can fix. One of those things you grieve and then rebuild from. Yeah, I'm the problem, it's me, exactly. There are so many times that we get told, you are the problem, right? And again, this goes back to being told that you are just depressed, that you are just anxious, right? Or giving you the wrong diagnosis, giving you a BPD, telling you that you have avoidant personality disorder, things like that, and not looking further into the information to see what the actual problem is. It doesn't make me broken. I'm broken for a bunch of other reasons. I am broken because MS has fucked me up. For a long time, pretending to be dumb enough to understand. I hate it for a long conversation. Yeah, and that's the thing that a lot of us that are masking have to put up with. Middle child syndrome. There's that. Right? The need to mentally speed up what somebody is saying, right? If somebody is talking slow, I can't handle it. I don't talk fast enough for my own brain. Right? So if I'm talking to somebody and they're talking slowly, it drives me up the wall. Like I myself, when I hear myself talk, I'm not talking fast enough for my own brain. That's a problem. Brain is getting too far ahead, right? Brain going warp 9, brakes made of pudding, can't stop. Lips a lot of times trip over themselves because I'm this far ahead in my mind. My lips are way back here. But it drives me up the fucking wall. Sludge mode. That hurt my brain. What, talking slow like that? Part of me wants to apologize, another part not so much. Yeah, full permission to use a big word. If I don't understand, I'm not embarrassed to ask. Exactly, and that's 100% true. You guys have all seen Jay do it, right? He's like, explain this for me. Okay. Or in the case today where he's like, explain this. We'll get to it. Just hold your horses. Hold your fucking horses. Your horses. Hold your fucking horses. Anyway. Just saying, get to the fucking point, yeah. It's not the reason I'm broken is everybody else saying I'm fine. And... Alright, Chris, are you ready for this? To wrap up this part here. Give it a let go, it tastes just like raisins. Here's how we're gonna kind of wrap this up. Ready? Chris? This goes for everybody, but we're gonna pick on Chris right now. Are you ready? You were not difficult. You were undiagnosed. There is a fucking difference, and it matters more than I can put into words. Just because somebody else says that you are difficult to deal with, okay, fine. Yeah, pick on you time. That is right. You're not difficult, you're undiagnosed. And that goes for a couple other people in here. Not pointing fingers or naming names. What did I just say? This goes for a couple other people in here. Not naming names or pointing fingers. Feel free to fuck all the way out, please and thank you. That's right. You know what I used to say way back in the clubs? Complaint department. Feel free to register a complaint. Rest forehead on belt buckle, unzip, and talk into the microphone. So, Oof, you like that one? I'm difficult, but not because of lack of previous diagnosis. It's true. Broken can be a mastery skill grind on its own. I mean, if you're trying to be broken, or give the appearance of being broken, okay. No, Mama, you're not. I'm stubborn and the problem. Stubborn, I'll let you get away with. I am stubborn constantly. I know that's who I am when it comes to a lot of things. I am infinitely fucking stubborn on a lot of things, and a lot of people not happy about that. Give myself there. Exactly. Hello, Moon. Yeah, exactly, Jay. There is nothing that you can say to me that I have not said to myself and worse. So good luck. That's what you tell yourself in the morning. Not necessarily. All right, question time. And Rotoads. Sup, dude? When you actually got your diagnosis, or when you first started suspecting it, what shifted for you? Did anything shift for you? And I don't mean fixed. I mean, did something in your perspective shift for you? With mine, it did. It started to. And then it wasn't until I had that piece of paper in my hand that all of a sudden the lens had solidified and I had given myself permission to look at official or self-diagnosed, or starting to suspect. And we're not talking TikTok, because those ones are just like some fucking moron dancing, pointing at a thing saying, these are the 5 signs that you have ADHD, and they're all bullshit. Or super widespread symptoms, or traits that everybody does. Fuck those guys. Yeah, you heard me, and feel free to clip it. Any of those idiots who are fucking dancing and pointing and going, these are 5 signs you have ADHD, and then list off things that everybody does, go fuck yourself. Go fuck a hat. I'll even give you mine. Suck a bag of dicks. All of them. I said what I said. Anyway, back to my question. When you actually got a diagnosis, or you started to suspect, did something shift for you in your perspective? Did it not fix what you were looking at? Did things shift for you? Let me show you here. Myself a bad bitch in the mirror, and then watch myself cringe. That's funny. Isolation isn't all bad. Not necessarily, no. If you do it for an excessive period, then I'm gonna come and put a foot in your ass. Understood why I no longer tie my shoes. Dude, that's the MS for me. Self-diagnosis, of course, would research the fuck out of. Of course you did. Once you were in Discord, it felt validated. There you go. Self-diagnosis based on research on user validated. Well, as I have said, and everybody in the community knows, when I say that self-diagnosis is valid, that means that you have gone through and done the work. It doesn't mean that you have watched said fuckhead on TikTok there. It means that you have gone through and done, like I said earlier, compared your life experience against the diagnostic criteria, compared your life experience against other autistics, right? Other people in the community. You have researched the ever-living fuck out of it. When I went in, and I've told everybody this story numerous times, when I went in to get my diagnosis, I walked in with a stack of papers, and my diagnostician, therapist, she laughed. She laughed at me. Not in a bad way, but what she told me is 95% of people that come in to get a diagnosis will have something like this, or a notepad in their phone, which I also had, right, of all of these things. And then she finished up by saying, and 95% of them are right. You know how much I research a lot of things. Exactly. And a lot of people will come to me and ask me, and I'm cool with that. They will come to me and ask me if they can't find specific research, or if they need to be pointed in a certain direction. I will point them. Right? That's what I do. Maybe look deeper in myself, aspects related to what I didn't, what I could work on, what I couldn't. At least until I was diagnosed, which I'm still trying to swallow. I mean, that's fair enough. Speaking of talking slowly, get an automated voice call reminding me to... I fucking hate those. Come to peace about me losing my mental capacity sooner than most. That sucks. Funny enough, there's a mental health counselor doing a presentation at work recently. They said, how often do you put your phone in your keys or something like that in the fridge and couldn't find it to pick it all the neurodivergence room, and they said constantly. Yeah, well, they'll look at what the fuck is on their face, yeah. Have you ever put your keys in the fridge? I mean, that's not diagnostic criteria, but it's fucking close. It's pretty close. Have you ever left your phone in the freezer, you know? Online manager often asked me on the correct track when she was explaining she... That's good. Gouda. Alright, phone went off. What do we got here? We almost got another self-care break coming up, so it's a good place to pause, I guess. Yes, thank you, bot. I just said that. So what was it? Jay was talking about how things shifted. Nadia did. Peter said it had to come to peace to it, yeah. Yeah, that fucking tracks. That totally tracks. And again, shameless self-promo. If you guys actually want to read the articles that I'm pulling this from, this is today's post on Substack and yesterday's that we're going through. So yeah, if you want to read the fuller, then check it out there. Thank you, Jay. Check it out there. Free for everybody to read. If you want the more in-depth stuff for the clinical points, for the coaching points, the parental points, that's where the paywall hits. Obviously, I'm going to give everybody as much information as I can. However, I'm not a free ride. So, speaking of care break, some of you might be into gaming. Deadlock playtest, the MOBA heroes. MOBA's not really my thing, but if anybody else is interested, there you go. I'm not against that. MOBA, think of it like kind of like League of Legends, sort of. Go ahead, Zen. If you want to put your Steam code in here, go ahead. I got no problem with that. Yeah, but MOBA, it's not really something I'm too much into. Like, League is about the only thing that I can think of that's close. Early playtest, it's more like Smite as in third person. Huh. Yeah, the hero shooter stuff. Yeah. Anime. Howdy, howdy. Some of you guys are great at showing up after I've done the majority of this stuff. Missing all the goods. I guess that's what the replay is for. How's anime today? That was dumb, Automod. Kinky divergence. Well. So yeah, reminder, if you guys want to read all this stuff without hearing me babble about it, Jay just put the link up. Substack is there. You can read the articles. Also, if you want to get your ass on the train, which is back and running, yeah. Still breathing. Excellent. Limited time off. There you go. Yeah, all you got to do is subscribe. Get yourself a car on the train. I've got it set up all by code now, so I'm very happy about that. No longer a video. This is all done with code. Fuck yeah. Go, Claude, go. And your car will automatically show up on the train. If you don't like the color that it assigns you, right now, just let me know. I'm still working on the code where you guys can change your own colors at will. So, there you are. Anyway, if you want to get yourself on the train, that's for our subscribers and patrons. If you're on Patreon, get your ass on there. The train boss, the train. I have not assigned other animals yet. Toads, look at that guy. I've not gotten into that part just yet because, I mean, it wouldn't be super hard. It's just I'm trying to save as much energy as I can. One of those games I don't play because you need a lot of friends for that. Sometimes, yeah. No, I get what you're saying. Alrighty, well, self-care break. Time to do that shit once again. So let's do that. Grab yourself some water, a snack, go to the bathroom if you need. I'm probably going to fill up my coffee because it's getting pretty low. And
After these messages, we'll be right back.
hey.
Since I'm obscene, you already know what I mean. autism obscene, you already know what I mean. We just wanna move. We just wanna move. We just wanna move. We just wanna move. Feel the pain. Yeah. Feel the pain. Yeah. Yeah.
And that's a funny thing is it absolutely is a Stockholm syndrome that he has with that. It's kind of funny. Chris, if you would be so kind as to DM me later, I want to borrow your skill set if that's cool. It's something that I would like you to help me with if that's all right. Taking a child to school. I mean, do what you gotta do. Whatever you say there, future lady. All right. This next part that we're getting into is the we'll call it it's the paywall stuff. Some of it when it comes to the Substack. So self-care music. I want to borrow your. I want you to help me with something later, if you don't mind. Borrow your skill set. Anyway, so this next part here that we're going to get into, it's the practical and coaching translation. So this is kind of the coaching angle that I took on the information that that we came across under the, again, it's linked up in the top of the chat. This is the information we're pulling from. V, what's going on, our favorite flamingo? Howdy how, neighbor. So again, this part here is the stuff that I tend to paywall on the articles. So, you know, if you're interested, have a listen. If that is something that you want to read more of, then that's where the paid subscribers on the Substack come in. Anyway, now that we're all yelling at poor V, for those people that are still waiting for a diagnosis, sitting off to the side, sitting in the wings, waiting on diagnostician, waiting for the money, waiting to win the lottery, whatever it is. As I always tell you, document everything. Bring a written history to your evaluations. The clinician has usually about 50 minutes. You have a lifetime of data that they need to see quickly, right? Always document everything. Make note of, make note of everything that affects your daily life. Everything that you find you relate to and why, right? That's what I ended up doing. What I brought in was a copy of the diagnostic criteria and then notes for every little way that it pertained to me. Explicitly name that you have masked. Let them know that. Because if you're doing it and they don't know about it, they could miss it entirely. And make sure you use that word. Tell your evaluator you have spent your life learning to appear to function as a normal human being, and that this presentation is not representative of your daily experience. So make sure that they know that you possibly could be masking right now. Never masked in my life. Never, not once. I did not make an entire career and persona out of it. Didn't happen. If a clinician dismisses masking, that is information about that clinician. That's not about you. That is about that clinician. You are allowed to seek a second opinion. A diagnosis is not a verdict. It is a hypothesis about what is happening. A better hypothesis is always worth seeking. So I'm marked safe for masking. You're also marked full of shit. But I think Annie and Chris beat me to that. He presents himself as the demon he is. That's right. That's right. You present yourself as that demon. Anyway. So, do I need to repeat myself, or did you guys get the point? He masks at work? Yes, he does. I've seen it as well. Not directly, but I've seen him get up from the chair, and I've heard him do it, so I guess that's close enough. Lisa Wool, that's right. That's, hey, fuck off. That's my line that I stole fair and square. Get your own. So again, to recap, for those of you that need to hear it in the back, document everything. Explicitly tell them that you either are or could be masking. Make sure you use that word. Let them know. If they dismiss it, you can get a second opinion. Because not every clinician, and it hurts me so much to have to say this, not every clinician is up to date on all of the information. Here, you want a war? Here, have a war. Fuckers. It's like work, documented or it didn't happen. Exactly. Alright, Battle Royale, fight it out. So yeah, I've said it before, I'll say it again, and I will continue to say it again. Document everything. Tell them that you could be masking. Make sure you use that word. If the clinician dismisses it, that's on them. That's not on you. That is not an invalidation of your experience. Maybe from them. They can fuck off. Second opinions are fine. Bring the ammo. For people with prior diagnoses, that might not be the whole story. You don't have to throw out old diagnoses. Some of them may be accurate and co-occurring, right? BPD and ADHD can exist in the same space. Bipolar and ADHD can exist in the same space. I'm going to say that one again. Bipolar and ADHD can exist in the same space, even if they overlap by a 90% margin. The question you bring to a clinician, given what we now know about how ADHD and autism, depending on your situation, presents in adults, is it worth revisiting my diagnostic picture? It's a reasonable, evidence-based question. A good clinician will engage it. A bad one will dismiss you. That's where you go find a good one. Stand up for yourself. Self-advocacy. How important is that? As I continue to pound you over the head with it. Stand up for yourself. Be your own advocate. Self-advocacy is important. Like, infinitely important. Okay? If you can't do it, bring somebody in to advocate for you. There are, and I hate to admit this because it's really fucking embarrassing, but there have been situations where I have had to bring my wife in to advocate for me because I was not capable of doing it effectively on my own. I hate admitting that, but it's true. If you can't do it, bring somebody with you that will. For the people whose support has been mislabeled, don't argue with the diagnosis about them. let me just rephrase the first part, or not rephrase, recap the first part. This is for people that are supporting somebody who has been mislabeled. Okay? This may not necessarily apply to anybody here. But if you have somebody, say, a child who would be an older one, who needs a cookie, because we all need cookies, everybody needs cookies. But if you are supporting somebody who has been mislabeled, okay, don't argue with them about the diagnosis. Ask them about their experience. Ask them, does this label help you understand yourself? Which is a more effective question and more useful than, I think you have the wrong diagnosis. So ask them. I'm not going to point any fingers here, but I know that they are listening and can hear my words. Does the label help you understand yourself better? If not, then that's where you need to go find a second opinion or go back and ask. You don't need to say it in chat. I know that you're fingering me from there. Giggity. Feel free to DM me a fuck you. I'm okay with that. Anyway, be the person who takes their experience seriously before you're the person that helps them find better answers. Always listen to somebody's experience. Everybody's lived experience is valid. Even if you don't understand it, even if you have never gone through it yourself, somebody else's lived experience is 100% valid. Okay? Now, for everybody, all this research that I've been looking into, it is not going to fix the system overnight, which is a real bitch. Up here in Canada, provincially, from province to province, it is different. Down in the States, I don't know how much your state versus state works for a lot of the healthcare, but I know that both of our systems are kind of fuckered, and they both need a lot of help. We're doing the best that we can with what we got, unfortunately. So again, the research is not going to fix this system overnight, because it's bullshit. But knowing what the research says can help you change what you are able to ask for. So if you walk into a clinician's office, knowing that the barriers to the diagnosis, such as you're not a little white boy, such as you are a minority and may get glossed over. Bullshit about paying your diagnosis. What the fuck? I pay a diamond. Fair. But if you know what those barriers are, and you know that they're documented, and that personality disorder misdiagnosis in ADHD populations is diagnosed, or is documented, is what I meant to say. That your skepticism and your own chart of evidence-based, not paranoia, your own chart, your own notes, your own, this is my life experience, that's valid. It's those around me not giving a fuck. That's fair for any of our diagnoses. Anyway, just know that your lived experience is what I was trying to say, is 100% valid. Make sure that you bring that in with you. Advocate for yourself. I'll always say that. Advocate for yourself. If you cannot do it for yourself, bring somebody who can. Know the barriers that are there, that are in place. The struggle that you are going to have to fight against. It's unfortunate that it's real, because it's bullshit. Not everybody who has an experience like me is a little white boy. Well, people choose a private system to get diagnosed. And that's fair too, right? Again, but so long as they're taking into account that these barriers do exist, and that a lot of the people or a lot of bad diagnosticians will you're just depressed. You have BPD. You just have anxiety. Leave it there and not dig any deeper, right? Not try and tackle any of the other things that you may be experiencing or presenting or going through. So I'm going to wrap this part up here with a question. What is one thing that you now know about your brain that you wish someone had told you 10 years ago? There's my little call-out question for you. What is one thing that you know now about your brain that you wish somebody told you 10 years ago? This could be fun. And mine said that I have dogs. Hello. Hi, you're home early.
Yeah. There's not much left in the store. So.
Fair enough.
And it's dead.
Fair enough.
I have a little nappy before I take Jace to sleep.
Okay.
I'm taking her because I have to drop off these stuffies.
You're gonna take her?
Yeah, because I'm going to drop off these stuffies.
Okay. Sounds good. All right, Annie, what is one thing you now know about your brain you wish someone had told you 10 years ago? RSD exists and it's a bitch. Yeah, that's up there. That constructive criticism does not mean that I'm a terrible person or that the person helping me hates me. Speaking of RSD. But I take exception to the little white boy thing. The little white boy, you know, like I was punished, he stabs her. Their understanding, one of them might be different. I think he's ever. My back hair stands on end. Well, I mean, again, your experience, right? I'm just saying that for the greater majority, the diagnostic criteria was trained on little white boys, right? That's why a lot of girls, a lot of AFABs, a lot of minorities, all got glossed over, because all of the diagnostic criteria was trained on little white boys. You can take exception to that as far as you want. The point is, I'm not wrong. It is a fucking fact, and it is true. If that makes the hair on the back of your neck stand up, so be it. But it's reality. It is the actual God's fucking whatever reality. It's bullshit. It is stupid. I will 100% agree with that. But it's true. It is only in the last 10 years or so that a lot of people have opened up to the idea that girls present differently than boys, right? When they're little and younger. A lot of girls get glossed over because they present inattentively. Yeah, the amount of people of color. Well, like I said, minorities, right? I guess that I expected it was understood that was kind of in there, but yeah, they do. They 100% get dismissed, right? Because all of this data was trained on guys like me when I was 8. Whatever. It sucks. It's stupid. It's bullshit. Like I said, it's only been the last 10 years or so, well, maybe a little longer, but that it's really started to open up. Right? Again, like I was saying, a lot of girls, they get glossed over because they present inattentively and not hyperactive. Like a lot of us little boys did. And when it comes to the autism, right? For the greater part, even going back to the very first diagnosis, something that I had learned in digging through the research, going back to the first autism diagnosis that was ever actually documented as autism, which goes back to... Fuck, I would have to pull it up. It goes back to like 1914 or something like that. The field of children that they were looking at was a vast majority of boys, right? We just save that for self-criticism. The POC community is also hard against seeking help because they dismiss a lot of them. Well, and a lot of that is cultural, unfortunately. A lot of their cultures dismiss any kind of mental health problems, right? They're I hate to say they're very ableist in a lot of regards, right? Just ignore it. It'll go away. Just try harder. Just, add any of that shit to make it just disappear, vanish into the woodwork. Because they don't, I don't know how they don't believe in it, but it's true, right? A lot of, that I hate pinpointing it. It sounds really bad. I'll give you an example that I'm a little more comfortable with. Our friend George, right, who now does a lot more like George. What's his tag now? Can't remember what his tag now is, but it's like George in Space or something like that. But he, he's straight up said that a lot of his culture, a lot of his Mexican heritage, they just dismiss it. They don't believe in mental health or dealing with anything like that. And yeah, it's dumb. Dumb as shit, but here it is. I see it so much at my school. Yeah. Oh, it is cool as shit. If you guys are into space, follow George. I can't remember his handle off the top of my head. But yeah, it's wicked. He takes a lot of like pictures with his telescope and whatnot. Like a lot of long exposure, you know, exposed for like 3-4 hours kind of thing. Pictures of like stars and nebulas and shit like that. If that's your vibe, fuck, go follow George. So cool. I love that stuff so much. Ah. Nom nom nom. I guess at this point, I haven't really seen a whole lot. Do you guys have questions about some of this stuff? It's George Spaces Out. There you go. Thank you. Yeah, it is a funny handle, but it's cool. Yeah, a lot of his shit is just wicked stuff. But yeah, if you guys have questions about anything we went through, because that's kind of that's where I'm gonna actually be poking Chris and whatnot. Is I want to kind of I want to inquire about the effectiveness. Question: no, brain on fire. Yes. Sorry, that's my fault. Shit, I had one and it walked away on me. That sucks. I'm even medicated today. Every time I see the train go by, I keep waiting to see Jay's flapping wings in his car on fire. That's how stuck on the old one I am right now. Oh well. We'll get it figured out eventually. In time. It'll happen. No, Jay, quite the opposite. Totally the opposite. I guess you weren't listening. I hate to say. I was saying the exact opposite. That your experience based on the information is still 100% valid. However, it also means that they potentially did not do enough digging. Right? So instead of finding and still going, it was, this is you, and stuck you with that. That's what I was saying. Not calling your experience bullshit. Same concept, I am nearly adult. What were we talking about here? Catch me up. Where basically I'm just asking for questions. If anybody has any. And again, my friend's on fire with a migraine. I mean, that's fair. It sucks. I don't envy you. But yeah, if you guys want to go deeper on this, it's on my Substack. The latter part is today's article. And if you want it, like, because it'll be paywalled at the diagnostication part. If you want the full thing, just ask me. I'll send it to you. I got no problem with that. And then you can look at all of the other stuff in there, the coach stuff, the parental angles, all that goody two-shoes shit. You're an adult, work home, and you should figure out your own shit. Here's your problem, not mine. Open. I mean, it very well could be. It very well could be. It also sounds a bit like, and I mean, I could be wrong. It sounds a bit like internalized ableism. And like that self-rejection, right? That's kind of what I'm picking up there. Again, could be wrong. Not a doctor. Not a professional. Double certified coach. That's it. And I don't say that facetiously. I mean, that's really it. That's all. I'm absolutely not qualified to be a doctor. But yeah, and that's a shit thing right here. That's a shit thing to have to go through. You know, as an adult. Work, home, none of that stuff. They don't give a shit. Right? That is unfortunately the bullshit society that we live in, that we're stuck with. Is a lot of that ableist looking at it and just dismissing it. Open wound syndrome. I like the name of that. I don't know if that's an actual thing, but I do like the name of it. Giggity. Anybody else got questions? Curiosities? Wonder? The more you know? I don't have my piano thing queued up. I do have this, though. Gross. As you guys all fart on the train. You know, you're an awesome being. Oh, gross. Yeah, I even turned up the volume on that one for you, Chris. Did I know that you were an awesome bean? Yes, I did know you were an awesome bean. And good job with that, Annie. Good job. That hydration was for you. And Chris.
Eat something yummy, motherfucker!
Yeah. The fuck? I know what that was for, too. I'm the one swinging a little bit. I took it ahead and appreciate it. Yes, ma'am. As you command. I did the thing before the drink. Good job. Alright, let me do a quick recap here and we'll put this shit aside for the day. Alright, the system has documented the structural barriers to adult autism diagnoses. You are not imagining it. The walls are real. 57% of ADHD adults meet the criteria for at least one personality disorder. The most likely explanation is not that ADHD adults have personality disorders. It's that unmanaged ADHD produces behavioral patterns that look like personality disorders. So that's where I am saying it is not that your experience is wrong. It is not invalidating what you have gone through or what they have said. What it is saying is it is most likely that it is not properly managed ADHD. Therefore, it produces behavioral patterns that look like these personality disorders at a rate of 57% of adults. Okay? The connection between these things that I tried to make was when the system can't see your actual condition, it labels what it can see. Those labels have consequences if they are not going to go further and try and actually figure out what the goddamn problem is. So if they just label you with anxiety, for example, then that is what they are going to focus on, not the underlying problem. They're just going to try and treat the anxiety. And they put it there because that's what they know. Your brain is not broken. It is misunderstood by a system that was not designed to understand it. The research is starting to catch up, thankfully. It has really opened up in, like I said, the last 10 years or so. You were always ahead of that. That is the fucking problem. You're misunderstood by this system. So again, if you want to go deeper into either of these papers, both articles are on my Substack. It's today's and yesterday's. Feel free to follow on there. Please do. Paid subs. I hate double dipping you guys, but paid subs get the critical breakdowns of coaching transitions. If you want them, for the ones that we talked about today, just ask me and I will send them to you, as well as the links to all of the information that I dug through, if you want to look at that, okay? Tomorrow's article that I'm going to drop, Gender Bias in Autism Research. I am trying to I'm trying to put up at least 5 articles in a week and try and attach videos to 3 of them. That's kind of where, that's my little segue into, like, still trying to create shit for places like TikTok and YouTube. But yeah, I try to And Jay having a seat. I try to do 5 articles a week. I try to attach at least 3 videos. Again, if you want to follow there, hit me up on Substack. Okay? I guess at this point, I just want to point out that you guys knew what was happening today. At least you had an idea. You knew it was going to be a coach day, which means you knew the call-outs were coming. And you showed up anyway. So I appreciate that. Especially out of like Nadia, who's like the target, primo target of most of this. What color do you want, Annie? DM me what color you want or what the hex code is. Because at current, well, I mean, you could try if you do exclamation train car. Yeah, I think it's exclamation train car space and then either the color or the code. Try that and see if it works. I don't think it does because I'm still fighting with it. But I think it is. Something like that. Again, I don't know if it works. You can replace black with the hex code as well. So like number 0000, you know, whatever. It should take. Again, I don't know if this works. We'll find out in a second because for testing, I put myself on there. I had prior anyway. I don't know if it's still there. But yeah, if you guys want, give it a try. I don't know if it'll work just yet. Did I break the brains of a few people? Because if so, then yay. I mean, I'm sorry. And I'm just going over some of the, I had a couple of FAQs that I came across. And I'm just trying to see if there's anything that somebody talked about that pertains to any of these. And I don't think so. Okay. Now, Annie, we will. What color is that? Because we will see when. Normally, what would happen is it would wait for the train to reset before it takes, right? And unfortunately, because this is not a video, I can't fast forward it through. So what color is that? Some type of deep bluish green. Okay, so we'll keep an eye on yours, and we will see if it actually worked. If it didn't, I will manually reset, and then we will see if that worked. Hey, Chris, look. I assigned you B yellow. Ha. Anyway, I think you have 2 cars, if I'm not mistaken. Actually, I think a lot of you guys that are on here, that are on the Patreon ones, I think it also gave you a second car if you're a subscriber. And I'm trying to find a way around that. But I mean, I might just say fuck it and leave it. Right? So like Road Toads was the first one that I noticed. Like, okay, he's got one in there, but why is he getting another one here? I'm trying to see yours. There's yours. Okay, yours is a pink right there. Now let me just... I'll just do a manual reset on this. And we will see if it took. Did it reply to you in any way when you put that in? Did it give you like some kind of an error or something that only you could see? Because somebody else was saying that happened to them. And I'm just kind of trying to figure out It's kind of a bitch. No, give me the silent room. Okay, me too. And like, this thing is on. Yeah, this thing is on. Okay. All right. So this is what we're doing now. We're looking for cars. At the very least, the one thing that I am immensely happy about is that if this is going right now and then somebody comes in, and Chris, for bad example, comes in and, oh, I need to subscribe. Well, what'll happen is within a minute or two, when the data gets pulled straight from Twitch as to who the list is, it will automatically add a car for them. And then and it'll assign them a random color, right? So, and then that's why I'm like, okay, no, it didn't work. Okay. Whoop. You're special, Annie. I'm going to do this for you manually right now. Overlay, subscribers. Open that up. Yada, yada, yada. I'm going to scroll down to Annie Mae. Right there. I'm going to add that. I'm going to save that. I'm all kinds of special. Well, we'll see. I just manually did it, so hopefully it does it on the reset here. Right? Because I'm pretty sure that once the train goes all the way through, from here to here, it resets the code, goes back to start, and then does it again. I'm hoping that's what happens. That's how I tried to make it. But, like, I haven't done coding like this since college. So, this is, I'm glad I had Claude to help me out. Because I tried doing this for, like, 2 months with GPT, and it was not happening. I got, like, next to nothing. I did this with Claude in one night. And you guys know that I've been bitching about this, trying to get this back for a year. Because, like, Squirrel Train, that's my fucking thing, man. That's my jam, baby. Alright, watching closely. Here we go. Got a bunch of the people on the Patreon side. Alright, okay, cool. Remember, if you want a gold card, that's how you patrons get those. Yeah. Alright, watching close. There's V. V's in a pink. Alright. And there's Sandra right there. And there's Raw. And Will. Unigirl. Did not reset yet. Okay. We'll give it a second. Manual reset. Alright. Here we go. Just did the manual reset. Now I'm going to open up the subscriber list. And it says that car is... blah. That color is there. I'll be a Pink Pony. You'll be at the Pink Pony Club? No, this also helps because it lets me know that if somebody needs something manually done, that I can do it and it will take, right? That it won't change it in the code every time it resets, right? It did it for a lot of others, right? Chris, for example. Diane, I know Diane wanted that color. I think Liz, I got her color. Road Toads, I actually put Frog Green in the search. Sheila like purple. Cajun, I need to figure out. V, I got a couple other people. Anyway. There you go. Look at that shit right there. See? Told ya. It just takes a couple of little resets. That's it. It will happen. Same as when somebody subscribes. Do I want to... Oh, yes. Here we go. All right, cool. Cool. All right, well. Cool. All right then. Well, I guess that seems like I guess we've covered all the shit. I guess we'll call that a day. Well, it is 5:15 and Jason has singing time. All right then. Well, let's fucking wrap shit up. Remember, if you want the full articles, make sure you check them out on Substack. If you don't have access to the full ones, you're not a paid sub, let me know. I'll just send you the full thing, and you can take a peek at it. All of the stuff that we talked about today. Other than that, I will try to be back on a Friday, body willing as always. Until then, drink your water, take your meds, be kind to yourself. Listen to the ending song as the credits are rolling, because it applies to you. You guys could have been anywhere. You're here now. You're fools, but I love you for it. Anyway, I'll catch you kids in the Discord. Until then, ciao for now, baby.